Now, we think that the bodies of those people are still inside, and investigators are in at the moment, sort of scratching through what's left of the inside of the building, but there's not much there. It's pretty blackened, really, completely burnt out, gutted from inside.
Alex, you've been there for a few days, and you've seen the way that the authorities have tried to police the protest today. What's your sense of how they're handling things?
Well, I think the violence of this protest was already anticipated. I was here at the last general strike, about a month ago, and again, there were clashes with the police, but the tension this time round has been much, much greater. I was speaking to a union official a few minutes before arriving here, and he was saying that this would continue. They've called another general strike for next Thursday, and he also pointed out that whilst many of the people who were attacking the police were militant activists and anarchists, some of those people who were trying to storm the Parliament building earlier, throwing rocks at the police, throwing petrol bombs at the police, were ordinary workers, public sector workers who are furious. The very, very, very draconian spending cuts have fallen on them. Again, remember that this new round of austerity measures is not the first package of spending cuts, it's the third. So people have seen their pay, which, to be fair, isn't very high in most cases. They've seen it shrink even more. So there really is a great deal of anger here, and people say they will continue turning out onto the streets until these spending cuts have been reversed.
The tit-for-tat scenes that we've been witnessing, Alex, sometimes police even throwing rocks that have been thrown at them back at the protesters. In a sense, we've seen these images many times, not least from the central business district of Athens, but as you've made clear, what's different this time are these now 3 deaths. It's obviously very difficult to say at this stage because details are still coming in, and as you've made clear, Alex, we don't know precisely what happened, but the fact there have been deaths in these protests, what and how will that play out in terms of future protests, do you think?
Well, it's very difficult. I mean, whilst you have these protests on the streets, it's very hard at this time to get a sense of other people who've not turned out. There are people who support these reforms. There are people who say Greece is in a mess, it's been very profligate, it's lived beyond its means, and something needs to be done. I suppose the universality in all of it is the anger against the politicians who are seen as greedy and corrupt. They're seen as people who've taken all the money. So it's hard to see how this will play out in the coming weeks and months. But I think the thing to watch out for is how much industrial unrest there is. If there is more and more industrial unrest, and we see a long, hot summer of discontent, that will seriously derail any reforms that the government is trying to implement alongside, obviously, the International Monetary Fund and the European Union. So that's really what you need to look out for. But that said, people are really very, very angry on the streets. It's the atmosphere when people were walking in. The last general strike was I would describe it as a carnival atmosphere, but it was much tamer. People were coming out, they were making their points. This time, people were extremely wound up, even though the protesters were coming up. So that kind of gives you a signal of what kind of problems that the government may encounter in the future.
It's difficult, isn't it, Alex? It's difficult, apart from anything else, to make yourself heard with the sirens in the background, but it's difficult amidst these scenes of considerable urban unrest, to put it mildly, resulting in fatalities, as we're hearing reported, to remember the issues of substance that lie behind all this, which, according to Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, could be as profound as the future of the euro and potentially even the way the European Union works.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt what's happening in Greece is much bigger than Greece. It's led to a major political and economic crisis at the heart of the European Union and the single monetary project. So in that respect, the ramifications of this will be felt across the whole continent of Europe, even the world. We've already seen the markets respond fairly badly to the Greek bailout package. There are many people, many economists you talk to, even the International Monetary Fund is saying that actually this really, we've seen with the emergency loan package, it's a band-aid. Greece is going to be allowed to stay out of the debt markets for the next couple or 3 years, but eventually we will be back at this stage where Greece is likely to default and have to have its debt rescheduled. Now, that obviously has major repercussions for other countries within the euro. What we are seeing is a eurozone of 15 countries, many of them not suited to sit together in the same basket, and therein lies the problem. You have Germany, an incredibly robust and powerful country, but then within that same euro basket, you have countries like Greece, which are economically not doing very well, to make an understatement. So that is the problem, and I think this could go two ways. You'll either see more European Union or much less. I think what's been very clear in this crisis is that the rules governing monetary policy have not been robust enough. Therefore, for instance, monetary policy, the license, if you like, to print money is carried out centrally, but fiscal policy, the license to spend money, is carried out nationally. So a country like Greece that wants to run up huge debts and essentially be maverick, there's nothing to punish it or stop it from doing it, which gives obviously other countries a huge problem and leads to what we're seeing now on the foreign exchange markets, a devaluation in the European currency. So that is a very big problem, and I suppose one thing we could see is more political union. You'll see countries saying that they need to have stronger rules to govern how countries within that eurozone spend their money. But I'm not sure when you look at the Greece problem, how much appetite there is for more European Union. People have only just got over the problems of the European Constitution and, of course, the Lisbon Treaty. Again, another major headache for politicians.
Alex, thanks very much indeed. Alex Rosser reporting live there from Athens. More news after the break.